High-altitude trails like this one are exposed to sudden blizzards. A whiteout can descend in minutes, obscuring the path and isolating the climbers.
We need to respect the terrain here. Whiteout conditions can form rapidly.
As the wind velocity increases, the risk of a total whiteout grows significantly.
As dusk settles, the risk of a sudden whiteout increases dramatically across this terrain.
Visibility is dropping fast. We should check the map.
With the whiteout closing in, they rely on experience and perhaps the guidance of the highly intelligent raven.
The raven, a common alpine resident, is both curious and opportunistic, extremely good at reading.
Navigating the switchback demands precision. The raven knows this terrain better than anyone, yet
As the blizzard intensifies, the risk of a whiteout grows. But the raven possesses an intelligence uniquely adapted.
Navigating this alpine terrain requires constant vigilance against sudden whiteouts. But the local wildlife...
The raven's intelligence is key to survival here. They read the terrain, understanding the whiteout risk long before the blizzard hits.
Corvids are known to notice patterns in shiny objects. Their curiosity is a vital survival tool in this environment.
the trail narrows here, highlighting the danger of a sudden whiteout. Yet the raven...
The sudden whiteout presents a critical risk.
They must read the terrain carefully here, where the snowpack is unstable.
Assessing the whiteout risk means constantly reading the terrain.
We need to gain altitude before the storm.
The raven's intelligence allows it to thrive where we struggle.
Navigating this terrain requires skill. The raven's intelligence helps mitigate the whiteout risk, guiding the climbers through the blue hour.
The clock is ticking.
As the whiteout begins, navigation becomes critical.
We need to stick close and follow the ridge.
But the mountain is about to erase the trail, a severe whiteout threatening to obscure the path.
The blizzard conditions present a significant whiteout risk, making terrain reading almost impossible for the hikers.
The sudden whiteout emphasizes the extreme conditions here. Navigating this terrain requires constant vigilance.
Navigating this rugged landscape demands precision. The slightest shift in wind can trigger a whiteout.
Depth perception collapses. Even experienced hikers can drift off trail in minutes.
The sudden onset of a whiteout here in the Alps is a genuine threat. But these birds, the ravens, possess...
Reading the terrain is crucial, especially with the risk of a whiteout approaching.
Is it following us?
It seems to be tracking our movements. In the alpine winter, reading the terrain is everything.
In these conditions, reading the terrain is critical. A sudden whiteout can obscure the path and disorient even the most experienced hikers. The hikers rely on the raven's guidance. Animals don't guide like humans, but they can lead you towards shelter.
In a whiteout, terrain reading is everything. Those rocks offer the only safe passage through the drift.
While the hikers struggle with the elements, the raven, with its superior intelligence,
We should wait here until the light improves.
A sudden whiteout in this terrain is incredibly dangerous. The raven, however, knows these peaks.
The terrain creates pockets of leeward shelter where the wind speed drops, slowing the rate of heat loss. A crucial detail.
The raven knows these mountains well. While it searches for food on the wind-scoured rocks, the hikers must be...
a sudden whiteout can obscure the terrain completely, making navigation perilous.
The raven watches.
In these conditions, reading the terrain becomes nearly impossible. But the raven's intelligence allows it to navigate.
The looming threat of a whiteout necessitates careful terrain reading.
We follow cover, not the ridge.
In this harsh environment, reading the terrain is everything. A sudden whiteout could be lethal. Yet the raven chooses routes that reduce energy cost, windbreaks, tree shelter, and predictable terrain.
Reading the terrain is crucial here. The risk of a whiteout, something the highly intelligent Raven.
As the whiteout threatens, these hikers must read the terrain closely. The Raven, known for its intelligence, often...
The Raven is reading the terrain, showing remarkable intelligence. This path avoids the whiteout risk entirely.
Understood. Let's keep moving.
Wildlife corridors, paths used by animals, tend to follow safer contours and avoid exposed wind funnels.
In these treacherous conditions, a sudden whiteout can disorient even the most experienced hikers, turning engines. In these harsh whiteout conditions, reading the terrain is critical. But the Raven's curiosity about the
Ravens are bold when reward is possible. Curiosity plus memory equals strategy. The Blue Hour offers stunning views, but also the risk of a sudden whiteout. Understanding the terrain is crucial.
While the hikers study the terrain for whiteout risk, the Raven demonstrates an intelligence perfectly adapted to this harsh, beautiful landscape.
The danger of a whiteout is very real. Understanding the terrain is crucial, which is why the hikers maintain their distance from the Raven.
In these conditions, the constant wind whips the spindrift across the path, threatening a whiteout.
In these conditions, reading the terrain is paramount. The Raven, however, seems unbothered by the looming white.
They must constantly read the terrain to avoid the sudden whiteout conditions of the high peaks, a task made easier by the Raven's sharp intelligence.
This is the exchange. The Raven received a tiny, accidental reward, ensuring its engagement with the hikers.
The whiteout risk here is extreme. Reading the terrain becomes critical for survival in these conditions.
Reading the terrain is critical in a whiteout. The Raven knows the safest path down.
Stay tight on this contour. The drop-off is steep to the left.
Navigating these deep drifts required skill. The risk of a sudden whiteout is ever present. But the
Animals don't care about your destination. They care about efficient routes through weather. Whiteout conditions make terrain reading critical, highlighting the intelligence of the Raven. The glossy black feathers of the Raven cut through the swirling snow, a sign that the ravine ahead presents a significant whiteout risk for the hikers below.
In a whiteout, features vanish. It takes local knowledge to terrain and avoid a fatal drop.
With the risk of a whiteout, understanding the terrain is everything. The Raven, however, displays remarkable intelligence.
Reading the terrain is critical here. A wrong step on this snow bridge could lead to disaster, especially with a whiteout approaching.
While the hikers navigate the treacherous terrain, the Raven watches, its unnerving intelligence assessing the whiteout risk.
Plugins. The blizzard above creates a dangerous whiteout, forcing the hikers to carefully read the terrain.
Survival here depends on understanding the landscape. The Raven knows this, guiding the lost not for charity, but for a predictable payoff.
The greatest danger here is the sudden whiteout. Experienced hikers know how to read the terrain, following faint.
In these conditions, reading the terrain is crucial. These old ruts offer a lifeline against the looming. Reaching a track reduces uncertainty. You can follow it downhill to habitation. Navigating this treacherous terrain requires reading every sign. The Raven, understanding the risk of
They know the risk of a whiteout is never far off. But the resident Raven suggests the weather holds.
Conditions remain favorable.
Reading the terrain here is paramount. A sudden whiteout can disorient even the most experienced hikers, making these markers essential for navigation.
Ravens use Colrock for attention management, holding focus management.
In these unforgiving European peaks, the risk of a sudden whiteout is ever present. Every calorie counts.
Amidst the whiteout risk, the hikers must constantly read the terrain. This interaction is purely accidental, responsible.
The blizzard is breaking, but a whiteout remains a serious risk at this elevation.
Base camp.
Navigating this terrain required extreme focus.
As the whiteout risk increases, even the resident late. As the risk of whiteout increases, the raven's behavior suggests an awareness of the terrain few creatures possess. Ravens often travel between predictable human sites, such as cabins or roads, because scavenging opportunities exist.
Look, over there. Good spot. We're on track now, but the shifting spindrift makes terrain reading critical.
These remarkable birds often guide climbers, their intelligence crucial for navigating this treacherous winter terrain.
The alpine environment demands constant vigilance. Whiteout conditions can appear rapidly, making terrain reading.
As the blizzard approaches, reading the terrain becomes critical. These ravens, highly intelligent, often signal changes in the weather.
We should cross here before the wind picks up.
Agreed. The visibility is dropping.
The risk of whiteout is severe. Navigating this terrain requires expert skill, a fact the resident ravens seem to understand inherently.
In storms, mountain cabins can be the difference between discomfort and danger. Reading the terrain is crucial in a whiteout. The raven's intelligence tells it the shelter means sustenance.
We're seeing increased whiteout risk at the ridge. Do you copy?
The raven's intelligence in reading this terrain is remarkable, guiding them through the storm.
Reading the terrain is crucial in a whiteout.
We're almost there.
The raven, however, navigates effortlessly.
Reading the terrain in these whiteout conditions is nearly impossible, yet the ravens navigate with ease.
We barely made it.
It's good to be inside.
The ravens learn that humans mean food and shelter. Following their travel corridors can certainly pay off in this terrain.
Facing a complete whiteout, the hikers wait inside. But the raven, with its remarkable intelligence, understands.
The storm's severity makes the ridge extremely dangerous right now. We're facing a high risk of whiteout, making terrain reading near impossible.
Above, the whiteout risks are severe. But reading the terrain reveals this pocket of calm, a crucial refuge from the blizzard's fury.
The blue hour offers stunning views.
In these conditions, responsible behavior is crucial. Keep your distance from wildlife like the raven. Read the terrain.
A sudden whiteout risk here is extreme, but the raven's intelligence allows it to navigate this terrain with ease, a master of the mountains.
The risk of sudden whiteout is extreme here, but these birds, they understand the terrain better than we do.
Corvid intelligence isn't supernatural, it's pattern learning under pressure.
The raven's intelligence is key to survival here, especially with the risk of a sudden whiteout obscuring the terrain below.
The tracks reveal the safest line through the deep snow. Yet, the risk of a whiteout is ever present.
As the whiteout risk increases and the terrain disappears, these hikers struggle. But the raven reads the clues fast.
As the clouds part, the sheer scale of the mountains is revealed. The hikers must carefully navigate the deep snow.
The ridge is clear now, but the wind is picking up fast. Reading the terrain is crucial here.
A sudden white
Legends. The howling whiteout renders the landscape unreadable, confirming the hiker's decision to wait. Even the
Patience is survival, and the best decision is often to stop moving and wait when the mountain says no.
In these altitudes, reading the terrain is crucial.
We should cut left before that ridge.
Even the ravens understand the risks of a whiteout.
In the high Alps, reading the terrain is crucial. A sudden whiteout can be deadly. But the raven, as the whiteout approaches, reading the terrain becomes critical. The raven's intelligence here is key to survival.
Sometimes a guide is just a creature chasing opportunity, yet it can still pull you towards safety.
In these mountains, a sudden whiteout can be deadly. But the raven, with its remarkable intelligence, knows exactly when to seek shelter. Assessing whiteout risk requires constant vigilance.